not everybody has the money to pay for a coach, a personal development coach. You need to take it a step further and start learning for yourself. Even if you do have the money to pay a personal development coach, you need to start learning. Here's what you don't need to do anything. What I've been doing is learning by myself. Learning not by myself, but from myself. And I know a lot of people are making decisions based on what I got. The shit that I lack. Well, guess what, motherfuckers? Weak position to make decisions based off of the beast, the motherfucking beast. Oh, God. The beast. Weak decision to make. Weak position to make decisions off of. Weak. You gotta keep growing. You gotta utilize everything in life as leverage, my nigga. And you have good things in your mind just like you got negative stuff in your mind. You got good stuff going on in your mind and you got negative stuff. Period. And you need to ask yourself, what is contributing to your behavior? What's the reason you do what you do right now? What's the reason for that? What is dictating your thought process? Are you negative? Are you positive? Does it even fucking matter? Are these thoughts actually leading to a better lifestyle? Is it the reason why you're doing what you're doing or not? You need to dig deep into your own fucking life, period. You need to dig deep into your own life and find out what's the reason you exist. Why are you moving forward or backward? Are you still in the same mentality that you were years ago? One of the most effective ways to do that, or back in the day, was journaling, writing stuff down, and taking it a step further and actually studying your own content, asking yourself, going back and reading your mindset. And you made a decision based on reading that information. You'd be proud of yourself by saying, oh wow, this problem is not a problem anymore. I overcame that situation, or I'm no longer in the same state of mind that I was back then. And it was like giving yourself a gold star, if you will. Seeing the actual progress. When you're around individuals that believe in personal development, they actually see the growth from another point of view, and they come up to you and say, wow, since we met you, you've made drastic change. You are completely different than you were 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 7 years ago, whatever the case may be. Having outside sources come up to you and tell you that is empowering. But don't underestimate the power of you evaluating yourself, judging yourself, if you will, and saying, holy shit, I've made significant progress, or I haven't made any progress. And you'll begin to shift, you'll begin to alter the way you move forward in life based on your own point of view. But do you know what you look like from the outside in? Do you know what your mind looks like from the outside in? Have you taken the time to analyze what your thoughts are? Utilizing technology for your benefit, not just scrolling mindlessly through the web. Now look, I'm not saying don't do it. I'm not saying that I don't do it. But what I'm saying is take the time to document what is in your mind. What is rolling through your mind? What is rolling through your mind? Maybe at the end of it all, we come to the conclusion that thoughts don't fucking matter. Maybe, right? Maybe we come to the conclusion that thoughts don't fucking matter. But I believe they do. I believe that thoughts lead to action. It's the thoughts that we have that lead to the things that we do. If you, for example, let's say in the morning I decide on cooking oatmeal and eggs. But I first decided, before I actually got up and started cooking, I had a thought. And it was a decision that led to the action. And that's just a very small example. Before I lift weights, these are thoughts. I decide on doing this. And then I act. We do come to a point in life where your thoughts become behaviors which you act on, and then they become habit which you're not really thinking about doing it. It's happening on an automatic basis. But if you're not okay with the results that you have in your life, if you're not okay with where you are right now, it's time to break those habits. It's a manifestation of thoughts which led to actions, and those actions don't lead to a better life. You're not okay with the fucking results that the actions you take have. But go back. What is it? It's the mind. Where did it start? It started in the fucking mind. Now, I'm not gonna get too conspiracy theorish, but a lot of us, we never had any control of our thoughts or mind. From a young age, we've been conditioned to listen, to act based on what someone else told us. We've been conditioned to, the word I'm looking for is comply. We've been conditioned to comply, to respect. Now look, I'm not saying be disrespectful, but what I'm saying is you need to think in terms of what the fuck result have I gotten from complying, from being so respectful, being so submissive to an outside source, being so submissive to just someone that has more experience or is positioned differently than you. Just because somebody has a stronger position doesn't necessarily mean that they're better than you. And it doesn't mean that you're better than them, but it doesn't mean that you lack the ability to make progress or make more than that individual. That's not what it means. Don't get position confused, bruh. Do not get somebody's position confused with your ability. I remember having a mentor in my life. And I remember sitting down. I would meet a lot of people in the marketplace. I would actually talk to them about, I would try to get them on board, if you will. And I remember I reached out to one of my cousins. And we ended up sitting down over a cup of coffee. And I just remember him, my cousin, I don't remember where in the process, but that motherfucker told me, he was like, that's good, but don't ever limit yourself based on him either. And I didn't think much of it. In my head, I was still drinking the Kool-Aid, if you will. But he told me that. He was like, don't. Damn, I hope I ain't passed. No, I ain't passing yet. I think I passed it. No, I ain't passing. He's like, don't limit yourself. Don't bring your... The way he worded it was fucking spot on. And again, I may not be able to say it verbatim, but he told me, he was like, don't make... You're capable of more, pretty much. Don't allow another human, again, I can't really, but it stuck with me. It stuck with me, and ever since I can't really explain exactly how it's affected me, but I think about that. And it just ties perfectly into what I'm saying in terms of, you know, we have so much respect for somebody that's in a higher position. Let's just use somebody in a management position. And we come on board, we start working for a company, and they have this role which is highly valued, highly respected. They know the ins and outs of the business. And of course you're gonna respect that person. But don't ever get it twisted. Don't ever think just because you won't ever hit that position, or just because, again, you gotta realize that position in terms of a company, right? There's only one person that can have that position. There's not gonna be two bosses. There's not gonna be two people that could have that position, because if not, the value of that individual is diminished. But don't allow yourself to diminish your position based on what's available. You're worth more than that. Now, I'm not saying go disrespect, but you gotta find something. You gotta find an outlet that allows you to be you as an individual. You have to have that outlet, because if not, you're gonna be limited to your leadership. You're gonna be limited to the people around you. You're gonna be limited to the leadership or lack thereof around you. And if you don't have an outlet, if you don't allow yourself to communicate thoughts, if you don't allow yourself to be your true, authentic self, it's gonna create frustration inside of you. And that frustration is gonna lead to bad decisions in life. Maybe not immediately, but long term, you're gonna start spewing this frustration on the people that you love. Maybe your kids, maybe your family. Maybe people in the workforce, maybe your customers. You're gonna start showing this frustration in other areas because you don't have an outlet. Every human needs a fucking outlet. Every human needs a fucking outlet, and I'm gonna continue pressing on this. What goes in must come out. I don't care how your content is. I don't care if it's not providing value. What is value? Value first needs to be for you. You need to first of all find value in yourself before you could provide any value to the world. And the only way to provide value to the world is by first finding value in yourself. You need to know for yourself that you are more than enough. I'm getting in the preaching phase. You're more than enough. Oh shit. You're more than enough, ladies and gentlemen. You got everything it takes. I'm gonna return this lock that I had bought. Hopefully they don't bitch at me because I didn't do it at. This is not the same Ace that I bought it at. But if they bitch at me, I'm gonna go to the other one. Horrible parking. Hi. I'd like to return something.
What's that, sir?
A lock.
Do you have the receipt?
Of course.
It's just easier to find you.
Got you.
Thank you.
It's good jams.
So 1809 with the tax back.
I'll take it. Question: if somebody has a lock and the key broke inside, do you guys take that out?
No, you have to go to a locksmith. It's asking for a signature, sir.
Okay.
Just for the return.
Okay.
The Greek Freak I've tried is pretty good.
Greek Freak. What is this stuff though?
Rubs.
Oh, rubs. For food.
Yes, sir.
Got you.
There you go.
Nice.
1809.
Would that go good on a burger?
Yes.
For real?
Yes.
How much is this? So I know. I'm not gonna get it now.
$15.90 and $14.
God damn.
Yeah, it's either $14.99 or.
That's that quality shit.
Let me see.
Look at you. Wow.
$14.99.
That's that quality.
$16.99.
I'm gonna keep my 18 bucks. Stay strong.
Have a good night, sir.
Yeah. my money back. Got my money back. Got my money back. Needed that. But yeah, it's don't allow your influences around you to dictate your self-worth. And listen, in this world, at least in the past, it was tough to, like, I remember me, I'll use me as an example. I remember at a point where I would be learning so much. I'd be around self-help people. I'd be reading, and I would actually be improving from a communication point of view. I knew I was becoming better. I knew that I was speaking different, but nobody had context. Nobody ever knew what I spoke like before. And I started to, like, it was tough for me to relate, if you will, with other people. And that, again, is my fault. You know, that's my fault. But I remember people saying, like, making fun of me because I spoke like a white boy at that phase in my life. I stopped reading, I stopped educating myself, I stopped associating with positive people, and I went backward from a communication point of view. You know, I didn't come off as clear on my messages. You know, I would speak, I'm talking about way different. And it was a reflection of the books that I was reading, the audios that I was listening to. It was a reflection of the association that I was surrounded by. And I remember in the workplace, it was tough for me to have friends. It was, and again, I'll accept full responsibility, but it was tough. And it wasn't so much about me not believing in other people or not fucking wanting to be in association with people. It was just I was learning so much, and I was so engaged in learning and developing and learning so much about characteristics and traits that were required in order for you to move forward. That if, in my mind, if you were not on this, if you were not wanting to learn, if you were not wanting to develop, I personally did not want to associate with you. I didn't see any value in associating with someone that wasn't wanting to move forward. I was okay with somebody being at a low level and not, you know, so educated, if you will, but I was not okay with somebody just complaining and staying in that same mentality. I was not okay with that at that phase in my life. And why I say this is because if you're in that position, you still need an outlet. You need to find out what is inside of you. Every human needs an outlet, regardless of where you are. If you're in a bad position or a good position, you need to be able to communicate your thoughts. You need to be able to get it out of your own head. If you don't, it's going to create specific behaviors which lead to either unhealthy habits or healthy habits. You need to find out what's inside your head. I was also in a relationship that, you know, I'll accept responsibility. I could have done a better job. I could have took initiative and said, fuck that, doesn't matter. But for me, I'm the type of person that if I'm in conversation with someone, well, I'll give this example. You know, I've been in conversations with people, and you could tell if there's a vibe, if there's a understanding, if you will, if there's communication back and forth, and I can also tell if there's no interest. Maybe I'm the only person, but I'm confident I'm not. That there's a level of just knowing that there's no interest in that conversation. So I remember being excited as fuck, being excited about things that I was learning and communicating this with the person I was with. And the lack of reciprocity that I got was beating my spirit down. And again, I'll accept responsibility. It just speaks on the lack of conviction that I had, the lack of belief, call it what you will. But this is important for you to either associate with people that are like-minded, communicate these ideas with people that are like-minded, or have an outlet and be the camera. If you don't have that circle of influence, if you don't have an association that you can bounce ideas with, if you don't have a mastermind, if you will, utilize a camera. Nobody's gonna tell you. The camera has never given me the shut the fuck up look. The camera has never told me shut up. I tell myself that. And these are beliefs or doubts that I had to get over myself. And it didn't just come from nowhere. You know, as a young kid, I remember having, like, I used to always talk a lot. I used to always ask questions a lot. But that comes with a price, a cost, if you will. That comes with, you know, the people that are around you. If they are annoyed and, you know, if they have authority over you, or if they have some type of control over you, if they don't encourage that, they don't direct that energy towards something conducive to growth or positive, they're gonna pretty much shut that energy down. And as a human, once you understand this, once you become aware of this, you need to wake that shit back up. You need to wake it up immediately, because I'm not saying that everybody's meant to communicate. I don't know. I can't say from a factual point of view that everybody's supposed to be a communicator. But I will say this, is if you're in my position, that you have a lot inside of you. If you are a different person when you by yourself, when you're genuinely by yourself, and you somehow seem to be suppressed when you're around people, that comes from something. And for me, it is what it is. I'm going to utilize everything in my life as leverage. But if you've been restricted, if you've been held back because of positivity at a young age, just based off you having pure energy and just wanting to communicate or be excited, and all of a sudden the people that you respect so much shut that energy down, you grow up thinking that that's a bad thing. You grow up thinking that, the people that I love so much would yell or not be happy. You connect dots. You're like, they're not happy when I do this. So you stop taking action on the very same stuff to be compliant, to avoid what came with the ramification of doing that behavior. So in my case, talking a lot. So what I would do is obviously stop talking. If talking is a problem, then I'm not gonna talk. If it creates a problem with the people that I love so much, if it's frustrating, if it creates this aura, this negative energy, then why would I do it? I'm just gonna stop. And long term, it could affect you. You know what I'm saying? It could affect you, because now you just have these thoughts, you have all these emotions, you have these behaviors inside of you, you have ideas that you want to get out, but you remember in the back of your head what came with expressing yourself, what came with that energy. And some people, they use drugs as an outlet. Some people use alcohol, and I'm fascinated by how real people are when they get in. We all know when you get on that drink, all of a sudden you become your authentic self. You could find out what that authentic self is by just hitting record. Just document yourself and start analyzing what these initial problems are. Be your own therapist. Again, the camera, the only thing that's gonna cost you when it comes to documenting is buying memory. If your phone doesn't hold a lot of memory, you have a couple of options. You could upload videos to YouTube and then delete it off your phone. That's how I started. You could buy an external drive and transfer it, or you could just buy a lot of memory sticks. But your mind and what you have inside of you is so important. It's so important. And you don't need somebody. I'm not saying it's not valuable, but what I realize is most people ain't even listening anyway. Most people are just looking for an opportunity to speak their truth. That's what it is. Not everybody. Yes, there's some good circles of people that actually listen to people, but that's rare to find. It's real fucking rare. When I hear people in conversation, and when I hear people that are friends, I hear them talk, and nobody's really listening. They're just fucking talking both their perspectives. It's like, in my head, I'm over here listening. I'm like, did you just hear what that person said? And they just completely go to another topic. It's because everybody has their own truth. And sometimes we just put up with the bullshit because of specific pillars that are met, meaning we compromise. We're willing to put up with an individual and just listen to a whole bunch of shit that isn't relevant because they provide value in XYZ. So it's like, okay, let's say if they have a car, it's like, fuck it, I'll put up with their bullshit because they have a car. So I'm willing to listen to their bullshit because they have a car. That's just an example. And here's the thing, if you aren't the one that is actually being your authentic self, if that person is the type of person that just over communicates over you, I would just be thoughtful about that person as a friend. Just be thoughtful about that person as a friend. If that person is not listening to you, if they're just the type of person that communicates all fucking day and don't give a fuck about what you have to say, they don't ever ask you any questions in terms of what's happening with you, what's going on, what are your thoughts, be thoughtful about that shit. Because again, you could hang around these people, you could associate with these people all the time. It's up to you. But I want you to think long term, is it worth it? I want you to think long term, is that really what you want? I want you to think long term, is that relationship worth having long term? Hurry the fuck up. I want you to think long term, is that relationship worth having? Is that relationship worth having? You gotta think long term, is that relationship worth having? Is that something that you want long term? Esa gringuita, coño. Esa gringuita, coño. Let me see what them legs look like. Let me see what them legs look like. She can get the dick. Flaquita, but she can get the dick. Flaquita, but she can get the dick. But yeah, just think about why you hold relationships. I remember hearing a statement, and this statement people would say, oh, don't burn any bridges. Well, it's true. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people, they hold relationships for the wrong reasons. You know what I'm saying? Think about it. Don't burn any bridges. What does that mean? Don't burn any bridges. To me, that's just saying you want to hold the relationship for the sake of a potential benefit that person could bring to you. If that person deserves to be cut off from your life, you need to cut that person off immediately. Burn bridges. You need to burn bridges. If these bridges are the ones that are holding you back, you need to absolutely burn these fucking bridges. Period. You need to absolutely burn these bridges, period. Don't allow those very same things to hold you back, like I have in the past. It's not a good place to be. It's not a healthy place to be. Burn bridges. Don't hold on to relationships just because of potential future gains. If that person is just taken away from you, don't do it. It's not right. If you see that somebody is taken away from you, if they're sucking energy out of your life, out of your positivity, what you need to do is make sure that you communicate to that person, hey, what value do you see me providing in your life? Find out. Just ask them straight up, what value do you see me as a human providing in your life? Oh, fucking messing with this bitch. Find out. You need to find out. You need to find out what value you are to someone's life. And don't think that just listening to someone and just being there, being somebody's garbage, being somebody's trash isn't something. If you're the person that is constantly listening to someone's, like I notice this a lot. I notice a lot of women, they be on the phone and they just talking. I don't know who the fuck they talking to or what they're talking about, but they're just communicating. A lot of times is drama. A lot of stuff that they're communicating is like just about other people. You know, I just hear a glimpse of a conversation and they say, oh, just negative shit about someone else. And my question is, the person that you're listening to, the person that you've been listening to for the last decade, are they constantly talking about other people? Are they constantly talking about drama? Are they constantly bringing up something negative? And if they are, that's okay. And if you internally, only you know this for yourself, but if you internally know that you don't want to hear that bullshit and that's not how you move, you need to pull away from that person. Don't just hang on to that relationship just because of the value that you see in them. It's always it's full circle. You know what I'm saying? You're holding on to that relationship for the wrong reason. And although you may not see the loss that you're realizing, you not having an outlet, you just consuming all that negative information is affecting you in worse ways than you think. All right? So I want you, ladies and gentlemen, to put yourself on the offense. I want you to put yourself on the offense. I'm actually home fairly early. I'm gonna sleep. Even though I want to cook these burgers, I'm gonna create some music for a little bit. And then I'm gonna rest. I'm gonna rest early so I can feel better tomorrow. All right, so I'm gonna jump in the shower real quick so I don't time will start carrying away and it's gonna be late as fuck in a few, okay? But I want you to keep making progress. Every human in this world deserves more. And I'm not saying that, it needs to be relative to someone else. I'm not saying that everyone needs to be a billionaire, if you will. But you deserve a strong cash flow. You deserve at least multiple streams of income, to not be tied down to one source. And as a human, having options, I'm going to end with this. Having options is one of the greatest things in the world. Be it drugs, being women, food. I'll use this analogy. For those that smoke weed, we all know how we feel when we have 1 gram left. 0.5, when we ran out, we're like, shit. Well, all of a sudden, when we get that bag, when we re-up, when we get that quarter, when we get that half a pound, whatever level you're at, when we get that amount, all of a sudden, our mind is free in terms of not wanting that as bad. Options. Same goes with women. When you have multiple women, all of a sudden, the women you have appreciate you more. Why? It's not so much about you having a lot of women. It's because of the lack of focus that you have on them. You're engaged in other areas, and they notice that. I'm going to tie that around with finances. When you have multiple streams of income, your attitude, your behavior, your demeanor is 10, 100 times different than when you have one source of income. You just move different because you're okay. Now, I'm not condoning you have multiple bitches, but I kind of am. Your wife, your girl, she'll appreciate you more. She'll love you more. Look at the numbers, fellas. All right? I don't care what you say. Look at the numbers. Divorce rate, relationships. Don't get it twisted, bruh. All right? Have options. You don't need to be smashing, but just communicate. Get in the marketplace and say hi to another young lady. Compliment another woman. Let her know she looking good in that dress. With your wife right there. You look very beautiful in that dress. You look sexy as hell in that dress. Let this bitch over here fuck up. I'll show you. I guarantee your wife will tighten the fuck up. I guarantee. I'm not saying smash her. And if she start playing that game, okay, you know who you dealing with. It's time to sack it the fuck up, fellas. All right? Too much advice that we've been given is not leading us to a better life. It's not leading to growth. And this may not be either, but perspective. Look at it from another point of view as well. Stay strong. Keep developing. I believe in you. More importantly, I want you to say this internally. I believe in me. Let's go.